Let her roll.
Good evening, everyone. It's 6:05, and we're going to start the Economic Development and Planning Committee meeting. Thank you all for attending. Is there anybody that would like to discuss anything before we start? If not, we'll move right on to resolutions. First resolution, adopting introductory law F, local law 6 of 2017, a local law amending local law 2 of 2017. And can we have a sponsor?
I'll sponsor.
Dan, second. Mr. Pep, thank you. Any discussion? Just to bring you up to date, there's 3 changes on that. They're also going to include under definitions renewable energy system feasibility study, a written study conducted by a contractor certified by the authority or certified by certifying entity approved by the authority for the purpose of determining feasibility of installing renewable energy systems. Section 6 shall be amended as follows. Qualified property owner may participate in Energize New York benefit program through the execution of an energized finance agreement made between the qualified property owner and the EIC acting on behalf of Montgomery County. The caption of Section 9 shall be amended to read as follows. Section 9, verification and report. So just some housekeeping on that. Is there any further discussion? We move it to full board?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Thank you. The next is a resolution accepting a grant application for the Arkell Museum Above Ground Storage Collection Feasibility Study Project, Empire State Development, Economic Development and Planning. Can I have a sponsor? Mr. Headwell, seconded by Chair. Any discussion? Move it to full board. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you. Last resolution is a resolution recommending the amendment to the revolving loan fund approval, TES Corporation and New Process Cleaners, Economic Development and Planning. Sponsor? Mr. Pep. Second, Mr. Wilson. Okay. Any discussion? Discussion? Yes.
Is this an existing loan or is this a new loan?
This was a loan that was previously approved, but it's been amended and changed before it wasn't secured by the property as a first mortgage, and now it's changed.
And the amount increased.
And the amount increased by 20 or 5,000? 25,000.
So now we have the collateral of the property?
Yes.
All.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of moving to full board, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Thank you. Is there any further discussion on economic development planning? If not, I will motion to adjourn. Brian? Seconded by the chair.
I can't.
You can make a motion.
To adjourn.
Yeah.
Apparently Martin has a different idea. Mr. Pep?
Not for the committee. Oh, okay, you're right.
Then Mr. Pep will second.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll close this meeting at 7:10, or 6:10.
Anything else?
Chair.
Chair, okay. Yep.
You got secretary?
Yeah, he's taking it over for me for a minute.
Nice.
What work have you done today? I'm putting stuff out on desks, he's taking minutes.
Hey, I'm good at delegating.
She's giving wrong directions to the legislator.
I need great direction.
Okay, we'll call the Health and Human Service Committee to order. It is 6:10. Any discussion from the floor? Hearing none, the first resolution we have is a resolution accepting funding and authorizing a contract for the Public Health Emergency Preparedness Grant and amending the 2017 budget. This will be for public health. Sponsored by Martin. Second by Bob Patel. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay. Second resolution amending the 2017 operating budget to accept enhanced child protection service grant funds and establishing a case supervisor position, social services. Have a motion?
I'll sponsor.
Mike, second by Mr. Wilson. Okay, and we do have the commissioner here. Would you like to?
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, all. Glad you all made it through the challenges of the evening. So each year, for at least the last 7 years I've been here, this county has received what's called Child Protective Services Enhanced Funds. And really, if you've read through the resolution, what it's allotted for is to keep our caseloads around 15 per caseworker. We try to achieve that, but it's very difficult. We have 132 cases come in last month. We try to stay between 15 and 20, but it's a hard thing to do. Sometimes we've created positions in the past. We've also offered overtime to caseworkers, but what we find is the overtime doesn't work really well. They just don't want to do it. They're very busy, obviously, in what they're doing, handling the case that they have. Overtime doesn't go well. So what we're looking at now, what's become a real challenge for us, particularly in Child Protective Services, is training. We've interviewed every one of our caseworkers internally. We're talking about 38, 40 people we've asked, and local training is a concern for all of them. It's one of the reasons why they leave. It's one of their concerns that they have about doing their job. Of course, they all go through state training, which is about 3 months, where they do certain time at the state and they come back. But that's a one-size-fits-all training. So they're not getting that local feel for what's specific to Montgomery County. And so this is an issue, but we've also not only interviewed them internally, we've also had an external consultant also interview them, and he's found the same things. That training is an issue, it's a retention issue, it's a liability issue. So we started looking at a training position last year, and we thought this would be a good year to do it since we do have the funds, the seed money to start it. It could be used for several things. I'll tell you some of the challenges that are on our plate right now, some you well know of. One is our retention, of course, for caseworkers, but also the heroin and opioid epidemic is really causing our workload to jump. And in some cases, we're losing caseworkers because of that. They're very busy in that realm. The caseload size I mentioned, but also raise the age is something you've probably heard about. Raising the age of criminality in New York State. The governor signed that into law in April. It's been something they've talked about for about 10 years. It's been an idea in New York for 50 years, but now it's happening. And there's a lot of training needs around this subject alone. For the probation department, certainly for us, because what we're going to see is these kids that are being housed in the criminal justice system now are going to flow back to us. So we're going to need to look at detention programs, detention facilities, which is something for another day and time for this group, but also the training around that and prevention programs. We really feel we need a one person to kind of house that training knowledge in. At the same time, we're also seeing the late baby boomers start to leave. We saw the early baby boomers leave in 2010. We saw 18 of our employees here left. A lot of them were leaving. That 1946 to 1956 range. Now we're seeing the late baby boomers. And I'm looking around the room and I see a few. I'm one of them. But we're trying to assess that knowledge and the experience and try to capture that before they leave. And we feel a training position is really necessary. We're not the only county that's looking at this. Some counties have developed training units. I don't think we're big enough for that, but I think if we had one person, a supervisor that could train the seniors, train any new employees that are coming in into the services department, and also help transition those that go from caseworker to senior or from senior to supervisor. I really think this is an important position. And it's like I say, it's something we talked about before. We see a way to do it now. Federal and state mandates are also hitting us hard. There's a brand new caseworker foundation training that starts this year. They've also asked the counties, mandated counties, to do 40 hours of training per caseworker. And somebody's got to do that. And the caseworkers, the supervisors that are supervising these caseloads now do not have the time nor the expertise really to train all those caseworkers. You really have to find one person that could do it. So that's the support for that. I think the resolution's got the, how it breaks down. The 29,000 will carry over to next year's budget. 2019 we would be on our own.
Does anyone have any questions?
So, how much is the full-time position? The full-time position, or what is
It will be, yes. It's 43,738. It's a grade L. And that will be reimbursed at the reimbursement rate is 50% federal, 17 state, 33 local.
Any other questions? Move the full board.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Next, resolution. Resolution amending the 2017 operating budget and establishing a full-time welfare employment representative, social services. Sponsored by Chairman, second by Mr. Pett. Okay, discussion? Commissioner?
They stayed up here, standing here, knowing that, hoping that somebody would sponsor. In this case here, we have, over the last year, seen an opportunity to increase and improve the performance of the position that works with our clients that are looking to be employed. And we've embarked on several endeavors. One just recently, July 10th, we teamed with FMCC to do job skills training in Amsterdam. And we've already seen 4 of those clients get jobs immediately. Some of them close their cases. So we feel this is a really good thing for us. And this is just a pilot, but already I think we're seeing some real benefits. The employment position that we have is contracted. It's actually 2 contracts at the value of $74,000. This would be a reduction in cost, actually cost savings, but it would give us control and give us control of the performance act, of course, but also that we can do a little more from the being a contract. We see this position as being meeting with the clients. Okay, when they first come in, instead of having a contract to do that, we'll establish that relationship right at the beginning with their examiner, with this person. So we feel it'll improve the performance that way. But also we're working closely with Workforce Solutions, who I think Gail Green and what she does as our Workforce Development Center. We're co-located with them, which wasn't the case a couple of years ago. And now we're actually, the feds and the state are asking us to work more closely with the Workforce Solutions Department as a part of a memorandum of understanding. I think Gail Green was probably here within the last 6 months and probably told you about that MOU, which we're partners to. So this position kind of falls in place for that too. They would be working with our clients, getting them resume skills, interviewing skills, even working, engaging with the employers. So I think this is a win-win for everybody.
Anyone have any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anyone abstain? Okay. And now we're down to other.
Yes, Commissioner McMahon, just like to ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
As it pertains to our dashboard report, we've been reviewing dashboard reports since about February, tracking how we are moving in the general fund, road machinery fund, county road fund, and the health insurance fund. And as it pertains, we've been holding budget workshops the Tuesday before our committee meetings. And as it pertains to activity in the general fund with respect to state aid and federal aid reimbursement, It has a recurring explanation we have obtained from the treasurer, who furnishes us information in that regard, is that we are tracking behind budget in those categories largely because of the filing of claims in the DSS section of things. And, we know you do wonderful work and your staff does wonderful work, and for that we appreciate very much. But we were just looking for a little insight. Another thing we track as far as that's concerned is how this is progressing versus same time last year. And it does show us that, last year, for instance, through June, we're 63, we're 26% behind last year and 21% behind last year in state and federal aid, respectively. So consequently, at our last budget workshop, the legislature agreed to ask you to come here tonight just to help give us some further insight in that regard. It was explained to us as of our last budget workshop that claims through April were received through the treasurer's office in the first week of July. And we have a built-in knowledge that reimbursement takes 30 to 60 days in this category to begin with. And early on in the year, it was explained to us that due to various changes in the department in the last quarter, the filing of those claims were, lagging behind a little bit. We were hoping to see them catch up as we progress through the year. And, through June, it was explained to us that April claims had been, submitted, as I just said, through the beginning of July. So, what we're interested to know is, if you can give us some further insight into any knowledge you might have as to how you plan perhaps to, speed that back up and catch that back up, and any help we may be able to give you in that regard as well, if at all possible. If you could give us a little more insight into those issues.
I do acknowledge that claims have been lagging, and I brought Michelle Russo here, financial director, to discuss that. We have had a consultant on board that's been helping us, do that training, and the claims variable, of course, it's the way we get our money back to the feds and the state. It's complex, and but we can do better. The claims due the 20th of the month, so it's due Thursday this week and last month. Mm-hmm. And there's certain parts of it that you have to get in.
Right.
There's other parts that back up that can lag a little bit time to affect the general fund. So I did bring Michelle here to explain where she's at and what she's doing in her office to make that happen. And we'll certainly think we can get better as far as time.
And like I said, if there's any way we can help as well, that's what we're here for too. But we're hoping that there was some plan in place to try and catch it up sooner rather than later.
Right. So, sure.
Yes, we are slightly behind, so we will be working on that. I should hopefully have meetings done by the end of the week to submit it to the state. We're also seeking assistance from the state Office of Children and Family Services, as well as Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance, to better help us understand how to claim state and federal dollars that may not have been claimed to its full capacity in the past. So we are seeking that assistance. Actually, we've got them coming in next week, so that should.
Michelle, do you have any idea or in your mind's eye, when this may get back on target?
We should hopefully have it back on target next month.
Okay, so if we look at it in August, do you think claims will be filed through June or July in the beginning of August?
Definitely through June, and by middle of August, I should have July's done. Or excuse me, yes, July's done.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Anything else?
Just to follow up on that, so by the end of the year, we should be on budget because of the reimbursements?
Well, unfortunately, with not being able to file December's claim until middle of January, you won't see that revenue coming in, but it will be closed up by the end of January, February, when Sean finally prepares his numbers on closing the books for the 2017 fiscal year.
Anything else? Hearing none, have a motion to adjourn. Bob Patel, second by Mr. Wilson. All in favor? Aye.
Thanks. 6:25 physical service is starting. I had a message that Paul Claiborne's still in the hospital.
Yeah, he was due to be released yesterday, and then it was postponed until today, and last minute, I guess that was changed again, and they kept him again. I don't know if there were complications or what, but there was something that they were concerned about, so they kept him again. So he's still in New York City.
Okay.
Say when he's dead.
All right, do we have any discussion? Right now? If not, we'll move to our first resolution. Resolution authorizing the county exec to sign an agreement with Genuine Parts Company, DBA Napa, Public Works. Motion's coming. Roy and Mr. Legislator Pett. All in favor? Or discussion? Okay.
Council, is
Legislator Sweet?
this something that was sent out to bid, or is this something that possibly should be sent to bid? Or?
This is something that was done this was done under this was bid by a municipality and under a New York State general municipal law. We can piggyback off of that bid for the management services. So that's,
So it's sort of like a state contract that's already been bid?
yeah, it just wasn't done in New York State, but New York State law authorizes counties and municipalities to use bids from other states as long as they went through the procurement process. And there was an RFP and there were responses and reviews that I can send you all that if you'd like to look at it.
Yeah, just kind of curious.
I think at Seawood County, Bill has had that, and I don't know if they got it from management contractor. I know there's another county in the state that has it.
St. Lawrence and Otsego
Otsego.
both use this, but I'm happy to send the RFP information that I have. And also as part of the contract, we wrote in that they have to use the county procurement policy process to make sure that they're, even though they're managing, would be managing the parks department, they're still abiding by a county procurement policy.
So is this like the county to buy parts from Napa, or is it?
It's pursuant to the procurement, so if it's a lower amount from elsewhere, then we have to follow the policy, get the 3 quotes and that kind of thing.
Any other discussion?
Yes. I seem to recall we had a presentation previous to this with regard to how this might work out. And then some time has passed since then. My question goes to the impact on current employees, people who are actually doing the parts maintenance at this point in time. Are they impacted in any way here?
No, because the gentleman who runs our stock room now, he still has to enter everything into our system. We still, we're not, the pipe that's purchased for the county isn't part of this program. Any of our diesel fuel, things like that, the the raw materials like that is not part of this, so he still needs to manage that. So there's still a significant job for the gentleman in that role. As a matter of fact, earlier this year, you guys approved to increase his job title, which put more responsibility onto it. It's going to be less running time for him and more management time for him within the department.
Okay, one more question. With respect to the agreement, if the county finds that it doesn't like this arrangement for parts, how do we get out of that contract?
We have an out clause in there, I believe. I think it's, Megan, she has the exact verbiage. Is it 90 days or is it at any time? I forget. It's verbal notice and written notice within 90 days at any time. But it's only a year-to-year contract, correct?
I believe the initial term is for 3 years.
But then I think it was in there at any time within written notice within 90 days from either side. That's all I remember the contract.
I can send you the exact language.
Pardon me?
I can send you the exact language from the contract on termination.
Okay, so we'll get that test before we vote anyway.
Yep, I'll send it
Thank you.
tomorrow.
Any other discussion? All those in favor?
The people on the committee are Wilson, Kelly, Edwell, DeChessie, Isabel.
I'm going to vote aye to move it forward.
Ayes have it. Any opposed? Abstain. All right, we'll move it to full board. Our next resolution, resolution authorized the county exec to sign engineering service agreement, Burtonsville Road Spur replacement. Any discussion? Legislator Sweet.
Sponsor. I'll sponsor.
I'll second.
All in favor?
No discussion. Discussion.
I said discussion. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Move it to full board. Okay, next resolution, awarding a clarifier rehabilitation and leachate accepted project contracts and authorizing the county exec to enter into contracts with the sanitary district. Discussion. Legislator Pat.
I'll sponsor.
I'll second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Move it to full board. Next resolution, operating the 2017 operating budget. The county executive signed a contract with McDonald Engineering, sanitary district. Discussion.
Sponsor.
Second.
Okay. Did you get that, Sharon?
I did, but Legislator Wilson, just to tell you on the resolution prior to this, where the blanks are, the sanitary district is having the meeting on Saturday. So for the full board meeting, we'll have an amendment to put that information in.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Okay, we'll move it to full board. All right, and this one just got handed to me. Request to transfer funds for purchasing of a vehicle, Weights and Measures Department. The appropriated fund balance, $37,337, and the motor vehicle equipment, $37,337, same, we're just moving the money.
Transferring money from the fund balance.
Transfer it from the fund balance.
Sponsor.
So that's not a resolution. If I could, Chair.
Legislator Knight.
This
won't be a resolution until we go to the full board tonight because it's pending approval from the county executive. But I had Cheryl let everybody know about it for discussion purposes, and I have Ray here in case there's any questions, and also hopefully Eric will be able to help in the interim to get Ray going.
We have it.
Yeah, I figured that. But we want to have everyone aware of it, so manager the executive will approve this, and we'll vote on it next Tuesday. So it's up for discussion.
So we don't want to get a sponsor tonight.
Legislator Burkell.
Eric, currently you use an F-150. Why are we going to an F-350?
Well, like I said, my involvement with this was hooking Ray up with the dealer that we work with. The amount of weight that he hauls around from place to place, his weights and that, there's two parts to it. The F-150, we put 9 front ends in that truck, just from the amount of use that it takes, the light front end and the 150 for what he does. So it was our recommendation, the 3/4 ton or heavier for the work that he does in a 4-wheel drive for getting him in and out of the dairy farms and in the wintertime around the fuel pumps, based on my mechanic's recommendation of mine. The second part to it was when we got a hold of the dealer that does all of our, who we procure all our vehicles from, they had another township that backed out of a truck, and he had one there, and he could give the county even a better deal on if we took that, and it was an F-350. So there was another additional, I want to say it was another $1,000 savings. So that was what we did.
F-350 pickup,
F-350, yeah, regular cab truck, 4-wheel drive, gas, 8-foot
Cap on
box,
the back.
wood cab.
Commissioner, is this all truck or is there any accessories involved?
There, it's truck, cab, and we had it priced with a plow as the truck came in as it was originally ordered from that municipality, so it was equipped with, that's how the municipality ordered it and then didn't take it, or didn't want it, so that's.
What are you gonna do with the plow?
Well, Ray stated that, you know, he can speak for himself, but he gets into situations where he could use one. I guess on Amish farms and things like that, he does their measurement, but that's his.
That's when they told me that you could come with a plow, I said, well, I could use one because Amish don't plow and it gets pretty hairy getting in and out of them. And I said I could also help the county plow, DPW if they needed help.
But contractually, we probably.
Legislator Sweet.
Council, is, as far as liability is concerned, with the county plowing private property, is that an issue?
There's a few concerns with that.
Well, first of all, it's the liability plus not benefiting the unplowed person's driveway, but it's using public money to plow a private entity.
My understanding is that you're not using it to plow their driveways, you would be using it to get into the driveways to visit and to do your job.
To test the milk tanks, calibrate them.
To get access.
To gain access, yeah.
I echo Legislator Sweet's concerns that this notion of plowing private property makes no sense at all. And it's going to be nothing but trouble if that happens. So we want to, excuse the pun, steer clear of that if we can.
I think it's probably something like if this driveway drifted in, you just got access in and out, right? Is that what you're looking at? You're not looking to plow somebody's driveway. Just to get yourself in, get yourself out. Legislator.
And with the Amish community, don't they have the stations where everybody goes to?
Not everyone.
Yeah, some of them now have.
They're way off the road too.
Legislator Patel.
So because of the question of the plow, and also not even assuming like a Fisher plow, which is pretty heavy.
We didn't get that spec, all we know is it came through with that.
But driving around with that is not a good thing. I mean, so you're not going to know ahead of time that you got the plow. So if I could make a suggestion, can we also, in the meantime, look for an F-350?
Well, we can tell them to take the plow off of that one and they keep it. I'm sure they
But we're paying for it.
No.
No, they're taking money off.
what impact would that have, Commissioner Mead? Financial?
6,200.
So that'll bring it down around 30 and a half, yeah.
That's just how the truck was spec'd out to us at the other town level.
I would feel better if we...
Legislator, what?
I think if we have a concern about Ray doing his job or plowing with his truck, then we take the plow off, but I think it's important, or it could be beneficial to the county to have another truck which a plow could be put on. I mean, if you have another truck go down, at least, I mean, the commissioner could call up Ray and say, hey, Ray, I need to use your truck for the day because one of our trucks went down or there was a problem, and they could switch vehicles or do something of that sort. But, you know, I understand what people are saying about having a vehicle, but I think it's important that we have some kind of backup. And if this truck already has this on it, then we take the truck with it and we just,
I agree.
mean, we've got two, or, you know, the person that would be operating it is a grown-up, and he's told, you know, that, you know, you're not going to be using it to go in and out and plow and do stuff like that. But I think it's important to have another vehicle that Eric could depend on if he needed to for another plow truck. I mean,
Do we have, I mean, we must have 3/4 1 tons with plows on them.
I have two.
I mean, if you got out to the site and hey, I can't get in here, you know, you could possibly send a guy out there, bust it open so he could get in. And
I don't know if we've ever had that happen before, but I mean, you know,
I mean, is that something, would that be possible?
yes, anything's possible. Yeah.
Oh, it's a backup for the county too. If something ever happened, at least you have a temporary backup, you know?
Jared. You know, just for order of clarification, Ray is a department head, so he reports directly to Matt. Commissioner Mead is kind enough to help put together the bids, maintain the equipment and everything. So there would have to be, you know, if Commissioner Mead asked Ray to do something, I'm sure he would do it, but he doesn't necessarily have to. But just, you know, throw that out there. So, you know, if in discussing this further with Matt, if the commissioner thinks we need another plow, then, you know, I would support having a plow. If the commissioner has two already, doesn't think he needs a smaller plow, then, you know, I would go along those lines. But I think we really need the input of the executive to guide us on this. So I'm sure Ray will be having discussions with him prior to Tuesday, and we'll probably have some more options available or more clarification available. But just wanted to clarify the positions as they are.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I can't support this plow, but it's disconcerting to hear the notions as to why it may be necessary, and more disconcerting to hear that we would be plowing private property to gain access. There's a real simple solution here, and that's to go on another day if you can't get access. And then we don't need to get into this any more than we are. If we can eliminate the plow, I'll support the resolution to buy the new truck. Otherwise, I'll just vote against it.
Any other discussion?
Well, the only thing I was mentioning on this will come up as a resolution next Tuesday.
Okay.
That was my question.
In the form of the resolution.
So we don't need to vote on it?
No, it's just, was just for
We just
discussion
tabled it.
purposes to.
Just tabled it.
It's not a resolution, just a discussion point.
Okay.
Just one more thing, Mr. Chairman. If we could see what we're finally going to be voting on, what the purchase is going to be, that would be helpful too before the next meeting.
Any other discussion?
No, I just appreciate the commissioner helping us out there in the interim.
Do you have specs or something that you can send me that I can email?
Make a motion to adjourn? Need a second? Mr. Henry? Okay, 6:43.